beautiful is that? Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about my van and how I got it and how you can get one too. Hey everyone, so today we are at a beach by Gala, which is in Yomitan, which is a little bit of northwest Okinawa, and it's actually really beautiful here. You can see there's some guy out there fishing, okay? And not much else. It's pretty secluded. It's low tide, shells and all that sort of stuff. Very cool. I moved to Okinawa 2 years ago, and I'm pretty much, this video channel is dedicated to stuff about Okinawa, whether it be dragon boating, restaurants, culture, what have you. So thank you for joining. If you feel so inclined to, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, the reason I'm doing this video today is because I'm getting a ton of messages through my email, and also messages on the video that I produced about my van, about the Toyota Hiace, and how did I get it. And there's a lot of people here in Okinawa that want to get a cool car, but they can't find one here because either they're too expensive or the dealers just don't carry a late model car that maybe you want to take back to the States later. So what I've decided to do is pretty much tell you exactly how I did it, and maybe it'll work for you. The first thing you want to do is figure out what kind of car you want. Do you want a car that's that you're going to be able to take back to the States? Do you want a cool car that you're going to spend some time with in Japan here? The US has a 25-year import law, which means basically if it's less than 25 years or older, you're going to have to conform it to the US Highway Transportation guidelines, whatever that is. I didn't really have to deal a lot about that because mine is a 1996. So that said, I was looking for a Hiace van. I knew I wanted a van. I wanted a really cool van with, like, you know, the windows, the sunroofs and everything. So what did I do? The first thing I did is go on goonet.com. And goonet.com is like kind of the auto trader of Japan, where you can see all sorts of cars, boats, trailers, trucks, everything. And you'll get the dealer prices from them, meaning you'll get the prices if you just walked in off the street. So I was looking and I noticed that my van, for the most part, anything I wanted it with the low kilometers that mine has, was going to about anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000. I know, for like a 22 to 25-year-old van, which was insane to me. So I contacted Goo Net about a van that was really low priced, and then I realized after looking at some detailed pictures why it was low priced, because it was just junky and rotty. And they actually reached out to me and said, why don't you buy one from the mainland auction? I said, okay, well, how do I do that? First step is find the vehicle that you want to buy in your head. Figure out what you want. If you already know what you want, then you're ahead of the game. Okay, then go on Goo Net and see what they're asking for that particular vehicle. I know it's going to be expensive, and I know the prices are going to be maybe out there more than you want to pay, but at least you gauge what they're going for so that you don't overpay if you decide to go the auction route, which is what I'm going to talk about now. Okay, so the auction route. Let me talk to you about how I got involved with the auction. So after I reached out to Goo Net, a representative from King's Auto emailed me. So basically, he gave me a username and password for this website that gives me access to every single auction in mainland Japan. To whatever you want, every make and model, even if it's not Japanese, is on there. Then you just select, like you would on Auto Trader or some other car sites, you select the years that you're looking for, or the range of years, how many kilometers you want on it, automatic, whatever, manual, and then just figure out what you need, what you want, and then hit enter. Now it changes every week. Actually, it changes every day because there are auctions every day. Once you get all the information from, you figure out what kind of car you want, you get the information from the King's Auto people who will give you access to that, and I've put that information in the description below. Then comes the tough part. And you would think this is the easiest part, but it's really not. It's actually kind of tough. Thus, the next step is give them a deposit. Now you can give them a deposit of whatever you feel necessary. I gave them a minimal deposit and they cover the rest. And obviously if you win the auction, then you have to give them the rest of the money if it went above your deposit or not. The toughest part, besides the wire transfer and doing all that paperwork, is really finding the vehicle that you want. So for me, it took about 7 to 8 months, and here's why. I would find some vans that I liked, and then I would, they have an auction sheet attached to them on every picture. There's some vans have 10 to 11 pictures, others just have 3, but everyone does have an auction sheet. So I started looking at the auction sheets, and I started looking, and they would translate the auction sheets for me, the people at King's Auto, and let me know what deficiencies the vehicle had, what had been done to it, what's on the sheet. Some of the stuff I could decipher myself, and there's plenty of sites that'll explain it to you. Like the grade is easy to decipher, you know, the mileage is easy to decipher. But once I figured out, you know, what I wanted, I started looking and looking and looking, and I found 3 or 4 vans that I really liked, and I put bids on them. And I lost bids on them because the Japanese auction works different than the United States auction, and here's how that works. So in the United States, if you were to buy a car at an auction, you know, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It doesn't work like that in Japan. In Japan, you submit 1 bid. So basically, if I was to submit $2,000, that would be my max that I wanted to spend, and that's the max that I was willing to bid. So I would submit $2,000, okay? So let's say somebody else submits $1,900, and I'm talking just US dollars. If they submit $1,900, then mine is next at $2,000, I win the bid. However, if someone else submits like $2,500, then I'm out. And it goes pretty quickly. So you really know right away, because the auction times and dates are listed on the vehicle that you select, you know exactly when and where the auction is and whether you lost. And here's a video to show just how fast this thing goes. And what I did now, I bid on a van, and I had a $3,000 US bid in on this van, and I thought, oh, it's gonna go for less than that. It didn't, and here's how fast it goes. So you saw how fast that auction went. It was very, very quick, and I lost. That thing went for like $8,000 US, maybe $7,500 US. So that's why it took me so long to find the van that I found. It's because you lose auctions, you win auctions, but for me, I was on a losing streak of four vehicles. And then one night, this vehicle popped up on a Friday night on the auction sheet. It was going up for auction at 10 a.m. And I said, you know what? I would love to bid on this van. So I called my rep through WhatsApp, and everything's done through WhatsApp. She speaks English, and she put the bid in for me, and it went up at 10 a.m. and at 10:15, she told me I'd won the bid. So I was super excited, and that's how I got my van. So that's how I got my van, and it cost a fraction of what my normal car cost here in Okinawa. And I won't tell you how much, because it's really obscene how cheap it is. Now, people are asking me, how much do they charge? What are the fees like? I think their fees were fairly reasonable, and then the shipping was probably the most expensive thing. To get my van here was about $800 or $900 US because of the size. I think it took like 30 days for the van to get here, and they delivered it to my door. Now, they've also told me they delivered to the United States. So that's another thing. If you want to pursue that route, you can do that as well. These are the steps that I took to get my van here in Okinawa, and I do plan on taking it home with me as well, because it will be 25 years or older, so I won't have to pass any emissions or any crap like that. It'll be a very, very easy process for me to bring that to the United States. I'm a little winded because I was walking from down there up here, and it's kind of windy, and it's actually rather steep, steeper than it looks. So here are the steps again. First, go on goonet.com, take a look at the vehicle that you want. Start searching in your mind and figure out what exactly you want and how much they're going for on Goo Net. I can almost guarantee you they will be at least half or less than half if you get them from the auction. The second step is to reach out to a colleague at, I used King's Auto, you might be able to use somebody else. Reach out to them and see if they can give you access to the auction site, which they should be able to because they're business. The third step is find what the models that you want are going for, and on some of the auction sites they list the prices that they went for, that they sold for. And if you're happy with that'll give you a great guesstimate about how these cars are going, whether they're going for more money than you thought or they're going for less money than you thought. Once you do that, you can give them a deposit and get the ball rolling. That will give you bidding power, because you can't bid unless you give them a deposit. So you'll work it out with your representative, you go and you give them a deposit, and now you can start searching the internet for the auction sites for your car or your future car. And you're not going to win them all. You're not going to win the first car you like, you're not going to win the second car you like. If you do, congratulations, you are totally going against the grain with that. And I wish you all the luck in the world, but it didn't work like that for me. Third, bid on the car that you like. Make sure that they translate the auction sheet for you. Like I said, there are many sites that will translate the auction sheet for you, just the normal part. It'll tell you what to look for. But the actual auction sheet that's on that car, your representative should be able to translate that auction sheet for you and give you through WhatsApp or through text or however you're communicating a pretty good list of things that are wrong with it, things that are right with it. Everything that auction sheet says, they will be able to translate and tell you, and then you make your decision and then you can bid. And as for shipping, I shipped here to Okinawa, but you can ship it from what they tell me. They ship it to the ports, Los Angeles, they ship it to the East Coast. Prices vary. It's usually cheaper to ship to the West Coast of the United States just because of geography, and it's less time to get there, so less expenses. But it's totally realistic for you to come to Japan or for you to be sitting in the States saying, man, I wish I had that car here in the United States. It's totally realistic to say that. It's a little bit of work to get it done, but it's not impossible. And I see a lot of people like, you know, going to these agents and getting ripped off and charged. I'm not saying that they all do that, but I've seen a couple that do that. So you should really, really be careful and go with a reputable company. Like I said, I went with King's Auto. They've got years in the business. You can go with them, you don't have to. And I'll put the link at the bottom of this description so you can call them if you want. You can reach out to them if you'd like. They are all on WhatsApp, and they are really, really great people. It was totally seamless. After I bought the car was sitting in my driveway in 23 days. And that's because I missed the first boat that was on its way over here. 23 days, then I just did some simple paperwork on base, and boom, I've got a really cool high-ace van. There's the girl right there, Fantasy. She's hanging out over there, along with all the dragonflies that are flying around. I don't know if you can even see that. But so that's how I got my van here in Okinawa. So if you're thinking about buying a really cool car from Japan and bringing it to the States, or if you are here in Okinawa on orders and you want to buy a car to bring into Okinawa, be sure to follow these simple steps and you will do fine. It's not impossible. You don't have to pay these crazy dealer fees. Like my van, if I wanted to sell it now, what, $12,000? Are you high? I'm not gonna pay that. So by all means, check out the auction, check out King's Auto or someone else. Make sure that their fees aren't exorbitant either, because I heard that somebody out there is charging $1,000 just for access to the auction sites, which I believe is ridiculous. Ridiculous, bordering on just ransom money. There goes another cool high-ace. Ridiculous, bordering on ransom money, so, you know, extortion almost, I consider it. They had very low fees and I was very happy with their performance. So I'm gonna end it here. By the way, if you know anybody in the military, active duty or spouse, give them a hug or handshake, because it ain't easy. And I will see you next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you soon.